Prakriti, you can start, huh?
Okay.
So let's get the kids in.
Baba.
Hare Krishna kids, welcome. I hope you all can hear me and see me clearly. But I see only blank screens. I would like to see your faces, not just the names. So if you all have good internet connectivity, please switch on your cameras. All right. And you all have, over the last 2 days, for the special session that we've been having for Ramnavami, you all have been hearing various aspects of the Ramayana. And before we start with some of the lessons that are there from the Ramayana, we're going to have we have a special video.
Long, long ago in India, there lived a great king called Dasarath, who ruled from his capital of Ayodhya. He had 3 wives called Kaikeyi, Kaushalya, and Sumitra. But he was very sad because he had no children. So he arranged for a fire sacrifice, out of which came a pot of special prasadam, which he presented to all his wives. In due course of time, his queens gave birth to 4 wonderful sons. Kaushalya became the mother of Ram. Kaikeyi was the mother of Bharat, and Sumitra's sons were Lakshman and Shatrughna. Ram and his brothers were all incarnations of the Supreme Lord. The 4 princes were loved dearly by their parents. They learned the art of fighting with bows and arrows and with swords and shields. They grew into brave and powerful warriors. They learned how to rule wisely, treating the citizens as their very own family. At Sita's Swayamvara ceremony, Ram broke the bow of Shiva and won the hand of the beautiful Princess Sita. They married and lived happily together in Ayodhya. One day, King Dasarath decided it was time to retire and to hand over the kingdom to his eldest son, Ram. The citizens were overjoyed and happily prepared to crown Ram the new king. They swept the roads till they were spotless and sprinkled them with scented water. They hung garlands on the gates and doorways and decorated every building with flags and festoons. But within the palace, there lived a wicked and hunchback maidservant who convinced Queen Kaikeyi that her son Bharat should be crowned king and not Ram. Kaikeyi asked King Dasarath to give her 2 wishes. First, she asked for her own son Bharat to be made king. And secondly, she asked him to banish Ram to the forest for 14 years. Dasarath fainted in shock. He had made a promise, and as the king, he had a duty to keep his word. When Ram heard this news, he was not disturbed at all and tried to console his grieving father. Sita and Ram's brother Lakshman decided to join him during his exile. All 3 gave up their royal garments and put on simple clothes. All the citizens were crying as they passed through the city gates and entered the forest, where they were to live for the next 14 years. Life in the forest was simple but happy. Ram and Lakshman built a cottage. Sita collected fruits and vegetables. With their bow and arrows, Ram and Lakshman killed many demons who were disturbing the peace of the sages living within the forest. Ram, Lakshman, and Sita lived happily. That is, until the 14th and final year. One day, an evil Rakshasi named Supanak saw Ram. His elegant and divine features captivated her, and she longed to marry him. She flew into a jealous rage and rushed at Sita. Lakshman stepped forward and with his knife sliced off her nose and ears. Screaming, she fled off into the jungle to tell the evil Ravana all that had happened. A few days later, Sita saw a beautiful golden deer. She said to Ram, "I'd love to have it as my pet. Please get it for me." Ram was very suspicious. "This is no ordinary deer. It may be an illusion created by a magician." So he told Lakshman to stay and guard Sita, then set off to capture the deer. But it was a trick, and the deer imitated Ram's voice and cried out, "Lakshman, help me, help me." Lakshman knew that no one could defeat Ram, but Sita begged him to go and help his brother. Before he left, Lakshman created a magic circle around the cottage to protect Sita. "Under no circumstances must you go out of this magic circle," he told Sita. Then he went off to look for Ram. Ravan, king of the Rakshasas, was waiting. Taking on the disguise of a sage in the forest, he tricked Sita into leaving the magic circle. Springing forward, he grabbed Sita and bundled her into his chariot, which soared through the skies towards his capital of Lanka. Hearing Sita's cries for help, the brave vulture Jatayu flew towards the chariot to help Sita, but Ravana cut off his wings and Jatayu fell to the ground. Ram and Lakshman later found the dying Jatayu, who was able to tell them that Ravana had taken Ram's wife. The two brothers searched everywhere for any clue to Sita's whereabouts. They enlisted the help of an army of monkey warriors who helped them with their search. Because of his great courage and strength, Hanuman was chosen to find Sita. With a single leap, Hanuman flew across the ocean to Ravana's island of Lanka. There he found Sita, sitting in a grove of Ashok trees, where she was constantly shedding tears for her husband Ram. Hanuman assured Sita that he would soon return with Ram to save her. Ravana captured Hanuman and set fire to his tail, but Hanuman escaped and jumped from building to building until all of Lanka was on fire. He again leapt into the skies and returned to Ram's army, who were waiting on the shores of the ocean. Ram told the monkey warriors to throw boulders into the sea, and by his mystic power, the rocks floated on the water and formed a bridge all the way to Lanka. Cheering, the army marched to Ravana's capital. Ravana's army of demons fired their weapons, and the monkey warriors hurled trees and rocks back at them. A mighty battle took place. When Ravana heard that many of his generals had been killed, he became very angry. He joined his army and showered arrows onto the monkey warriors. Ram invoked a celestial weapon. Fixing the arrow to his bow, he released it towards the demon's chest. It hissed through the air and struck Ravana, who fell down to the ground, dead. When Sita saw her husband once again, her lotus-like face blossomed with joy. After going through fire to show her purity, she and Ram boarded their flower airplane, and with Lakshman and Hanuman, returned to Ayodhya. Their citizens were overjoyed and lit millions of oil lamps to light up the city of Ayodhya. Seeing their king Ram returning after so long, the citizens offered flower garlands and danced in great jubilation. Bharat, Ram's younger brother, with eyes full of tears, welcomed Ram home. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai.
Okay, kids, can you all hear me now?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can.
Okay, so you all saw this wonderful video and how in 10 minutes, the entire crux and the basis of Ramayana was beautifully depicted over here, right? And over the last 2 days, you all have been seeing and hearing so much from the Ramayana, yeah? So what we're going to do today now in this last session for the special weekend on Ramnavami is we are going to take some episodes from the Ramayana and see what lessons we learn. Ultimately, kids, why are we hearing these wonderful epics? We are hearing them so that we learn from them. And when we learn the right things from them, we can imbibe them in our lives. And that is what will help us lead better lives. All right. So you all heard in the Ramayana now. And you all also know about this entire episode when Dashrath decided that I'm going to coronate Lord Ram. He's going to be the next king. And then what transpires after that? All right, the evil mantra goes and what she does to Kaikai, you all know. Okay, so we're going to take this episode where the news has come to Kaikai. Her mind has been poisoned. She loved Ram. All right, she loved him more than Bharat also. But how poisonous mantra managed to influence her. So she was influenced and she knew what she had to do. Here there was Dashrath on the other hand, who was very happy. And when he was happy, he obviously wanted to share his joy. And whom did he think of sharing his joy with? First, Kaikai, because he loved her the most from all the other queens. You all know that. So here is the episode where Dashrath is going to Kaikai's palace. What happens? You all know, but we will see what we learn out of that. Okay. So Dashrath is walking towards his Kaikai's palace, and the palace is dark. All right. And normally, when there is celebration and there is joy and jubilance, everything should be well lit. Now, Dashrath, as he walks through the corridor, he sees everything dark. So that is the first thing where this joyish and this happy Dashrath suddenly gets a little bewildered, a little worried. Ki bhai, kya ho gaya? What has happened? That suddenly this palace is dark. And then what happens next is he goes and he inquires, where is Kaikai? Now, what he is told, Kaikai is in the sulking room. And again, from this level, Dashrath, when he entered the palace, he came down to here. And when he comes to know she's in the sulking room, he goes even further in his morale. And then somehow he walks to the sulking room. And that time they had special rooms for everything. This is for song, this is for changing, this is for, dancing. Big palaces, kings. So there was a sulking room where if you were very annoyed or sad, you go there. And Dashrath is surprised that Kaikai is in the sulking room. And he finally manages to enter the sulking room, asking why, wondering why she's in the sulking room. And he sees her with everything, strewn on the floor and all her jewels on the side. Her hair are loose and he's wondering. And obviously he goes running to Kaikai. Hey, Kaikai, my darling, why are you on the floor like this? She's his favorite wife. And Kaikai is not talking to him. And he's wondering what is wrong. So can you know the environment? Just see what environment Kaikai is building. All right. And when he finally is on his knees, he's pleading, "Okay, mujhe please batao, Kai, what is wrong? What can I do? I love you so much. Tell me what you want." He was the king, so he had that confidence. Whatever you want, I can give you. After getting Dashrath down to his knees, Kai finally asked for those two boons. All right. And we all know what those two boons were, of coronating Bharat instead of Ram and sending Ram to the forest. Now, if you see in this entire episode, it is the environment that made the difference. All right. How a joyous and a jubilant Dashrath suddenly goes sad, then depressed, and then he's on his knees. All right. So if we make decisions with the wrong environment, that is when we misplace our priorities, because he made that decision and he repented for his life. Not only that, he landed up giving his life. So this episode, kids, teaches us that environment makes all the difference. All right. Now, what do I mean by that? I'll explain. Okay. Now, if you see, there's a classroom. Why is that always a classroom always bright and well lit vis-a-vis a bar? A bar is a place where they sell alcohol. All right, y'all are kids, y'all don't know it, but y'all shouldn't be there. But just for your general knowledge, see the two pictures on your screen. There's a classroom which is well lit vis-a-vis a bar which is always dark. Why is that so? Because one place there is knowledge being distributed, and the other place people are in ignorance. That means when you're consuming alcohol and liquor, you're down there. That's why one place is bright and one is dark. Also, have you wondered why a salon you'll always see, when you go for a haircut or something, beautiful faces always put up on the walls? Because that's the environment they want to create. They want to make you believe, you will look like Aishwarya Rai, you will look like this celebrity or that celebrity. All right. Also, if you see a dental clinic also, you will see the best smile over there. I don't know how many people in this world have this kind of a smile that you see on the screen, maybe like 0.001%. But what they are trying to tell you is that we create beautiful smiles. So that's the environment that they are trying to give. So why we're learning all this is because all of us are students currently. All you kids are students, right? Right? Show me a thumbs up. Yes, I can see Vedika, I can see Smrita, their hands up. Yes. So you all are students, and as students, you all have to have the right environment. Now, why do you need the right environment? Obviously, because you want to study well, right? You want the knowledge to get in, be registered, retained, so that you can apply it in your life. Okay. Now we're going to do over the next couple of slides, we're going to see some ways in which you kids can ensure that you have the right environment. Okay. Now, I would want your participation on the chat. We will unmute you also for some interaction. But as we run through the next few slides, I want your participation on the chat. Okay. Now, tell me, how many of you all would want to study in a dark room with lights on, or would you prefer a well lit and a well ventilated room? Quickly in your chat boxes. A dark room or a well ventilated room with sunlight? Okay. Maitreya says well lit room. Charan says well lit. Tanvi says well ventilated. Gaurangi says well lit room. Well ventilated. Exactly. So yes, that's what most of y'all are saying. You need a well lit room. You cannot study in a dark environment. And ventilation is important, because if there is cool breeze and then you're feeling good, so it's the whole feel good factor that is important. That is the reason you need sunlight and ventilation. So that's very, very critical. So that's one important thing that you need as students. So we have to make sure, you students should make sure that your rooms are well lit and they also have good ventilation. Okay. Now the next thing that we need How many of y'all would prefer the room on the left of the screen, and how many would prefer the room on the right of the screen? Quickly, in the chat boxes. Would you like a cluttered room, or would you like a clean room? For all those who have raised their hands, we will take your questions later. Okay, clean room, the one on the right. Avnish says that. Abhay also says, Abhay is the only one who has said the room on the left. Wow, Abhay, I would want to know why. But Sanskruti, Riya, Samyukta, all of them keep Varun, clean room on the right side. Advika is another one who says the left room. Okay. And so two of y'all, Advika and who was the other one? I think Abhay. I would want y'all to be unmuted, and I would want to know, y'all are the only ones out of the maybe 40, 50 replies that I've got, is that why would you want your room cluttered? All right. If y'all can be unmuted, I would really want to understand why would you want your room cluttered? Because all the others have said they would want a clean, nice room. Because when your room is clean, that's when the energies are right and you can study better. Okay. My second question, after I discussed with Abhay, and who else was it who said left room? 1 minute. So can Abhay be unmuted, please?
Yeah, Prabhuji I can't see him right now with his hands up actually.
Everyone else.
Who's the next one?
And Tanvi. No, Tanvi said on the right. Oh, sorry. Abhay, who else has said? No, I can see only Abhay. There was one more. I'm trying to know who that was.
This Abhyud. Let's see what Abhyud has to say.
Okay, so the two of them, Mataji, if you can just have them unmuted, we would want to know why have they said that.
No, I told clean room only.
Oh, you said clean room only. Okay, because you said left. Advika has said left side. So the left of the screen is the untidy room. So that's what I'm wondering why. Okay, so you want a clean room, right? Anyone else wants an unclean room? I see the heads nodding no. Okay, now tell me how many of you actually, be honest, huh? How many of you actually keep your room clean? Or is it your parents who run behind you? Are, please clean the mess. Are, your books are here. Are, your clothes are here. Huh? Tell me honestly, how many of you all take the effort of keeping your room clean? Okay. And if you all don't, it's fine. From now onwards, you all can make sure that your environment is clean and you have a well tidy, clean room so that you have the right mindset to study. Clutter over there or around you will put clutter over here. And if there is clutter over here, how will the right things go in? Okay. Rakshita says, I clean my room once a week. Okay, very nice. I clean it daily, but sometimes forget. That's Sanskriti. That's fine. But as long as you're keeping it clean most of the time. Saharsh says, I can't understand. My dear friend, what did you not understand? Saharsh, I would want a more clarification on this. What did you not understand? Yeah, Saharsh, please type in and tell me. Sagrika says she cleans it daily. Very nice. Kavya says, I keep my room clean all the time. Nandapriya says, I do it once in 3 days. Okay. So I'm glad most of y'all are seeing, but I hope this is the right answer. Y'all are not lying to me. Yeah. Lord Ram is watching. Don't lie. If you're keeping your rooms clean, very, very nice. And keep it up. Okay. But if y'all are not, please make sure that you keep it clean because that's the environment that you need. I'm trying to see if Saharsh has replied because I would really want to know what he was wanting to say. 1 minute, Saharsh.
I couldn't understand what you told about the clutter.
Saharsh, you didn't understand what I told you about the clutter. Okay, what clutter means? Clutter means everything is mess. See the left-hand side room, na? Something on the table, something fallen down, books here, clothes there. What is clutter? Clutter means kachra all around. And if kachra is all around you, how will this kachra not be over here? Will it? So, for example, if your body is unclean, do you feel fresh? Do you feel like doing things? Yes, Ahash, I can see you on the screen. Tell me yes or no. Nod your head. No, na? Exactly. Similarly, if your room is all cluttered, that means your environment is not conducive to study as students. How will you be able to study well? Okay. So ventilation, light, no clutter. Okay. This is what students need. Let's go on to the next point. What else do we need? We're taking a couple of key points. And this is what we're learning from the Ramayana, that our environment has to be right. If the environment is right, only then will we do it. Now, the next most important one, no distractions while studying. How many of you all have TVs on or phones near you? How many? You know, the distraction, some messages come. Oh, what's happening on the screen? Oh, what's the IPL score? Does that happen while studying? Quickly in your chat boxes, I want to know, does that happen while studying? Sriram says, we don't have TV. Very good. You should study without a TV. Excellent. And Hriday says, not me. Okay. Vedic also says, no. Tarun says, I will not. I will not means I hope you are saying I will not go in for distractions. Okay. Gaurangi says, rarely. Fair enough. That should not be. If you're studying, there should not even rarely be a chance where you have distractions near you. Okay. Ramchandra says, not me. Good. But you play video games. Sahar says you play it regularly, okay, but not when you're studying or when it is exam time. Okay, that's fine. And Tanvi says sometimes it happens. Fine, Tanvi, it happens sometimes, but please, please try that you keep distractions at bay, because that is not the right environment to focus and study. When you're studying, it should be, you know, I have to do this. This is my target, and I don't want to get distracted. Okay, that should be your target. Okay. Radha also says she doesn't have a TV when she's studying. Very good. Okay, so that's, I'm so glad that you all are saying that, most of you all at least are saying that you all keep distractions at bay. And for those of you all who tend to get distracted or sometimes let this come in, please make sure that it's away when you're studying at least. And not only that, honestly, you know, I personally feel that even when you're eating, if you can just keep that TV and that phone aside. I know it's very difficult for most kids, but research has shown that if the TV is off, or if you don't, and if you're focusing on eating, you know, your body can absorb the nutrients better, the food gets digested better. You can Google, you kids are Google experts, right? So why don't you just Google and find out that even while eating, you should not be watching TV. Okay, so try as much as you can that you don't have that distraction even while eating. Okay, so even while studying as well as eating. Okay, now moving on to the next one is sound and noise. Okay, now look to your left and look to your right. There are two different images that I've tried to put, and two different reactions of kids that are there. So this is general, not while studying, generally in the house. If there is too much of noise, it could be off the TV, it could be off music, it could just be people screaming. You know, generally people sometimes talk very loud. It's like, you know, or scream at each other, two siblings fighting, or so on and so forth. So that's the environment on your left of your screen. And see the reaction of the child. You know, generally, if you have a lot of noise and that in the background, what's going to happen is your mind is not going to be calm. And vis-a-vis this, look to your right hand side of the screen. Okay, there is the machine which you find at the temple, and in which you have the Mahamantra play very subtly throughout the day. How many of you all have this machine at home? Quickly in the chat boxes, how many of you all have this lovely device where Prabhupada's chanting is going on throughout, and you all have it installed in your house at any place, and it plays throughout the day? Quickly in the chat boxes. Okay, Galaxy 71 says, not me. Nandapriya says she doesn't get sleep without hearing it. Very nice. Vedika says, not me. She doesn't have that. Okay, Siddhi also doesn't have it. Kavya also doesn't have it. Nikita doesn't have it. Arav doesn't have it. Tarun also doesn't have it. Rakshita has it. Okay. So to the ones who have it, okay, to the ones who have it, please put one message for the ones who don't have, so that they are inspired to immediately go and tell their parents how important it is to have something like that, which plays throughout the day. Okay. I have this machine, kids. Throughout the day, if the Maha Mantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now, when this in the voice of Prabhupada plays in your house throughout the day, it is divine. So I would want, Mataji, can you just put the message on unmute? So I would want the message of the kids who have the machine going, showing to everyone that those who don't have the machine are inspired to buy it. All right. Can you please just unmute and the messages should be seen by everyone.
Yeah, that's done.
Okay, now kids, my humble request, put in the message for only for the ones who have this machine. Please put a one-line message so that the kids who don't have that machine can understand what it is to have a machine like this. And when the sound vibrations of the Harinam go in your house, how it feels. Okay. Can you read the messages, kids? We've opened the chat. Can you read the messages? Yes or no? Yes. So can the kids who have it, like Charanya says, we can be calm. Thank you so much for putting that. Maisha says she's going to be using it. Okay, that's fine. But the ones who have it, the ones who've been hearing, Sanvi, thank you so much for sharing that message. I feel calm and positive energy is when you enter. That's what you feel. I would want some more kids to share some messages, not directly to everyone, please. Kirtan says it's a very good machine. It gives good vibes. Kavya has put a direct message. Kavya, it should be a direct message to everyone to tell them, you know, about the positive vibes that they feel. Dhruvi has again put me a message saying it's very relaxing. So basically the kids who don't have this machine, please hear. It helps you relax. It's soothing. It's calming. And plus you get the positive vibes. All right. So go on to Amazon, tell your parents this machine. I know you cannot go to the temple because of the lockdown, but the machine is available on Amazon and other sites. You know, please buy it. And I'm sure at the end of 1 month, after you've regularly heard this, you will come back and you will say, this is the best thing ever. All right. Sound makes such a difference in the environment. Sound plays a very important role. Please remember that. All right. So sound is very critical and we have to make sure that we have the right thing in the background. And please avoid loud music, avoid, you know, overly screaming, because that overall in the house doesn't help. Now, the last and the most important thing in the environment, what creates an environment? You know, we are what we eat. So you may wonder, how is eating the environment? All right. It does make a difference because this body and the environment that this body is around and within makes the difference. And we are what we eat. Okay. So good fruits and vegetables which nourish our mind, body, and soul versus junk food. How many of you all like junk food? And how many of you all always binge on junk food? Come on, be honest, huh? Let's hear. How many of you all? So most of you all are being honest. Very nice. And how many of y'all say no to good food and vegetables which is given by parents? How many of y'all are fussy? Most of y'all are saying that you love pizzas. Dhruvi says she eats both. Okay. And many of y'all are being very diplomatic. Sometimes, oh wow, sometimes, okay. I love healthy food, Nandini. Really, I'm so glad. It's really, really nice. So you love French fries. Good. I like that honest answer. Santoshri, very nice. Now, who's this? Vedika says, who eats junk food once a year? 1 minute. Wow, you're such an inspiration for all the other kids. Who said that? 1 minute, huh? Let's try to get that. There were so many messages, so many messages. Thank you so much, kids, for being so enthusiastic and replying and sending us so many messages. Now, unfortunately, in this, I have missed the name of that child who says she eats it just once a year. Now, Nikita says she eats it once a month. That's also okay. But I want to know the name of the child who was saying I eat it once a year. Wow. Okay. So what we're trying to say in this is that it's okay if it's occasional, all right, at a birthday party or something. But when you're hungry, please try. And especially when your parents tell you, try and eat healthy. Okay. Because that way your body will be very healthy. Okay. Now,
That is Vedika who said she eats once a year.
who was that? Who said that, Madhji?
Vedika.
Vedika, once a year. Vedika, I want you unmuted. And you're such an inspiration for everyone. Okay, Vedika, I would want you to say, how do you manage to keep control on yourself? It's a great habit, and I believe you that you do it once a year. How do you manage to do that? Please, let's have Vedika being unmuted so that she can speak. And also for the next couple of minutes, Mataji, before I go on to the next learning, if we can have all the kids being unmuted, but kids speak one at a time, and Daksha Mataji will give you all a chance, taking the names of who all want to speak. Whoever wants to speak, raise your hand. We have 19 participants with raised hands. We'll give them a chance, okay, one by one. And the others, if you want to speak, put up your hand. Now, for the next few minutes, I'll have everyone unmuted so that you can give me your feedback on what you feel about the environment and whether environment really makes a difference or not, or anything else you would want to share pertaining to environment and how the right environments help you study better, feel better, makes you more positive. Okay, then we get on to the next learning from the Ramayana. Okay, Mataji, if you can just unmute all the kids for the next 2 or 3 minutes so that we can have kids who have raised their hand speak up. One at a time. So whoever's speaking first, please unmute.
Krishna Prabhuji.
I like healthy food.
Prabhuji, I think I should unmute only the ones who have raised their hands one by one. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to speak. Vishal Prabhu, you are on mute. Please unmute yourself, Prabhuji.
Okay, Shreya. Yes, Shreya, what do you want to say? Okay, if not Shreya, then we move to the next. Varuneshwaran, you're unmuted, right? Or I'll ask for
One
you to be
second.
unmuted.
Ask, yeah.
Yeah. Let's give a couple of children a chance, Mataji, so that they can
Yes,
just...
but he's not. I'm giving him this request to unmute, but he's not unmuting. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, dear. What do you want to say about the environment and how it makes a difference?
Sir, I by mistake unmuted.
Okay, perfect. Next child, Mataji, next one.
Sarvesh?
Sarvesh, go ahead, please.
Teacher, my basically I I raise hand for doubt. I doubt, sir.
Okay. Okay. Next kid, I didn't really get her the point.
Okay, fine.
Be a little
So
loud,
next-
kids, so we can hear more clearly.
Ria, should I unmute Ria? 1 second. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead, please. What do you want to
we-
share?
We always offer our prasadam to Krishna, and when we are outside, we chant the Maha Mantra 3 times, and then we eat the prasadam. So we always try to offer our food to Krishna first, and then eat it.
Lovely. So when you offer the food to Krishna, the food gets positive, and obviously when you're consuming, positive energy of the food, which is prasadam, it's the best. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now
Yes,
we can have
Prabhuji.
someone else also speak. Yes, yes. Lovely. Anyone else who wants to share any such thing that they do to create a positive environment? It could be related to food. It could be related to your studies. It could be just related to your own overall well-being. Who's going next? Y'all just
Yeah,
start with your
Gaurangi.
name.
Yeah, I'll unmute Gaurangi.
Gaurangi. Yes, Gaurangi.
Gaurangi Sharma.
Gaurangi Sharma, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would like to say that about the machine, I have it, and I would like to encourage the people who don't have the machine to buy it because the music that the Maha Mantra that plays, it relaxes the mind, and the different tunes that you can play with it. It's almost like meditating.
Lovely.
It helps
Lovely.
in meditating us.
So all the kids who I was telling that y'all should buy the machine, please, I'm sure you heard what she said, right? It is divine. Y'all must buy it, play it, and then after a month, you will know the benefit of it. Okay, thank you so much, dear. Now the next child, I would also request all the kids to speak little loud because some people may or may not have that kind of audio. So please be a little loud. Thank you. Yes, Mataji, who's going next?
Tushar Vakre, would you like to speak? I'll unmute him. Tushar,
Yes.
Vishwas.
would you like to speak? Yeah.
Yes, Vishwas, please go ahead.
Tushar, he's Tushar.
Okay, Tushar, please go ahead, dear.
I don't have the machine.
That's fine. You can share any other thing that you do for your environment or how do you keep your environment positive, anything like that.
I keep the environment positive. Trying to read the Bhagavad Gita.
Trying to read the Bhagavad Gita. Beautiful. Very nice. Very nice. And since you have brought out the topic of Bhagavad Gita, kids, starting 20th of April, that is day after tomorrow, ISKCON Chowpatty is starting Bhagavad Gita for kids. The introduction. And it's 18 days non-stop, 1 chapter a day. And we will introduce you all to the entire concept and key concepts of Bhagavad Gita. So if you all have not registered, please register. The link is on the website. Tell your parents, this is a holiday special, 18 days non-stop Bhagavad Gita for kids. Thank you so much, Tushar, for reading. And since you're already reading the Bhagavad Gita, it'll be nice if you again be a part of this 18 days and you hear a little more, because hearing is always good. Yes. Next.
So, Prabhuji, I'll unmute Maisha Kukreja.
Maisha Kukreja, please go ahead. What would you like to share with us?
Prabhuji, I have a doubt about
Can you
the
loud, dear?
story. I have a doubt
You have a doubt, please tell me.
about the first story. So, you said that the Kaikai asks for 2 wishes, but I thought that she had 2 wishes because she saved the king Dashrath's life.
Yes, so she had got these 2 boons when she saved King Dashrath's life. Absolutely right. But do you know something? She had forgotten about it. And it was the evil mantra who reminded her that you have these 2 boons. And having the boon is not bad. What to ask for that boon? Telling Ram to go away to the forest, and telling Ram, who's the eldest son, most capable, not to be the king. that is the misuse of the boons. Okay, so that is what was done by Manthara. But that is one part of the story. But today, what we're trying to explain is that when Dashrath walked in, the environment she created for Dashrath, so that his energy levels, his joy was here, and how he fell down, seeing a dark palace, then in the sulking room, and then seeing his favorite wife in mourning. So basically, how she created that environment for him to come down on his knees and finally agree to give whatever she asked for. Okay, dear?
Yes, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, I don't have that Hare Krishna Mahamantra machine, but I play the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on my iPad.
You play it on your iPad. It doesn't matter whether you play it on your iPad or the machine. See, the advantage of the machine is, you know what, kid? It is, if you plug it in one corner of your house, it plays throughout the day. And the positive energies keep going all across the house. All right. So if you have the machine, please play it. Okay. One more child. We can unmute and we can discuss, and then we'll go to the next story.
Arush.
And then again in the end, we'll have another 5
Arush.
minutes of discussion.
1 second, I'll unmute Arush.
Who's going next, Mataji?
Arush, Arush.
Arush, please go ahead. What would you like to share?
Sir, actually, I don't have the machine, but my grandfather was having it, and I was like feeling when I on the machine, I was like feeling I'm in the air flying, and a shield around me, a transparent shield. And when someone's come in the shield, he always come with the positive energy, and the negative energy is just away from me.
Lovely. So please make sure you keep the machine on and you hear it, my dear. All right. So now should we move on to the next part of the Ramayana? What we learned, you've heard. Okay, now we'll mute you all for the next couple of minutes, and then again we'll unmute you all and we'll have some more discussions. Now the Surpnakha episode. Okay, we all saw that in the video also, how this evil Surpnakha, she saw Ram Lakshman and she was mesmerized by their beauty, because of course Lord Ram is so handsome, you know, and even Lakshman, he's great looking. So when she saw, and she was this evil witch, demoness moving around in the forest, that was her area. So when she saw them, she immediately transformed herself into this beautiful girl, and she came and she proposed marriage, that I want to marry you. She's telling Lord Ram. And this is the only time in the Lord Ram, in the Ramayana, when Lord Ram is seen in a very, humorous mood, and he tells, no, I'm married, you get married to Lakshman. And then immediately she says, okay, if not you, I'm happy to marry him, because she looked at Lakshman, Arey, ye bhi acha hai. Ye nahi to ye chalega. I'm fine with this one also. And that's how, when, they go on, and finally, when she realizes that, when Lord Ram tells her, when Lakshman says, why would you want to marry me? I'm a servant. Marry him. He's my master. And then when she goes back to Lord Ram, no, I want to marry you. That's when Lord Ram says, no, I'm already married. And she gets angry and she says, oh, if the reason of this entire commotion is Sita, I'm going to kill her only. And she rushes to kill Sita. And that's when Lakshman cuts off her nose. And when this happens, she runs to her brothers, Khar and Dushan, who are in charge of Dandakaranya forest. And what happens? End of Khar and Dushan. They are killed by Lord Ram. She's not satisfied with that. Khar, Dushan dead. Her brother's dead. She's not satisfied. She runs to her real brother, Ravan, and she makes a complaint that, this is what has happened, and you help me, you save me. And Ravan is not interested. At that time, he was in his own party. He was having this own special party. He was not even willing to hear. That's when, how diplomatically, she tells Ram that I went there because I searched a bride for you. And the moment he hears that, he says, what? He says, yeah, Sita is the most beautiful. And then he says, really? Okay, stop the party. Let me see what my sister has to say. All right, so she was diplomatic because she knew the weak point of Ravan. And that's when she says that Sita is most beautiful. You will forget Mandodari also. And that's when Ravan was anyway a very lusty person, So that's when he listens to her, and then the whole plan is devised. Okay. But from this entire episode of Surpnakha, which I've told you in very brief, because I know you already know it, what is more important is to understand the personality of Surpnakha. She was a demoness, but who was she and what did she do? And how can we Be careful of such people. All right. So Surpnakha, kids, the name itself means, one who has this, winnowing fan-like nails. Do you see what's on your screen? These long, ugly fan-like nails. All right. Now, typically, uh, in life, growth is what is important for everyone, right? If all of us are very happy to grow, but nails are one such thing that even if they grow, it's useless because they are insensitive. All right. And Surpnakha represents this kind of people who are basically insensitive. All right. Now let's take the episodes that we spoke about and one characteristic that is brought about. So the first one, she's completely self-absorbed. Now, why do we say this? So one, of course, you saw that when her brothers Khar and Dushan were killed, she was still not bothered. What was she concerned about? Ram. I want Ram. That's why she went to Ravan. She didn't mourn the death of Khar and Dushan. I'll tell you one more story which brings about this point that she was completely self-absorbed. Now, Surpnakha was once married, and her husband, for some reason, by mistake, was killed by Ravan, her own brother. Now, Ravan made a mistake. So when he went to his sister and he said, "Look, by mistake, I've killed your husband." And Surpnakha was like, "You killed my husband?" He said, "But wait. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you the Dandakaranya forest. It is yours. You're the queen of Dandakaranya. Is it okay?" Immediately she was, "I'm fine. I'm the queen of Dandakaranya." She forgot her husband. She forgot the death of her husband only because of getting that forest and being the queen or in charge of that forest. Shows that how self-absorbed she was. Insensitive, as we learned, self-absorbed because she was only concerned about herself. She lost her brothers, no problem. Before that, she lost her husband, doesn't matter. Now, the second quality of Surpnakha and people like her that we learn is that she was not loyal. How do we know that she was not loyal? Is because she quickly switched her preferences. Now, first she went to Lord Ram because she was mesmerized. And when Lord Ram says, "No, I'm married, you go to Lakshman," she looked at Lakshman, "Arey, Lakshman acha hai, ye bhi chalega." And she said, "Okay, I'll marry you." And then when Lakshman said, "No, I'm a servant, go to Lord Ram, he's my master," again she went there. So her loyalties kept switching. So someone like her can never ever be loyal. Okay. Now, the third quality that we see of Surpnakha is she's happy to eliminate anyone who's on her path. Who was coming in her path of Ram and Lakshman? Who was stopping her? Sita. That's why immediately she ran to kill Sita. So this is another quality that we see. And the fourth and the most important quality that we saw was in her interaction with Ravan. And how she was diplomatic. Remember I told you Ravan was enjoying his party. He was not even bothered about listening to Surpnakha, though she was his sister, because he was also like her, self-absorbed, selfish. So how immediately she got his attention? By shifting focus. She was so diplomatic. She shifted focus from herself to Ravan. Rather than speaking of what she wanted, she spoke about what Ravan could have wanted. Ravan had many wives, but he was still lusty, as he said. And the moment she was told that Sita is even more beautiful than Mandodari, who was his principal queen, immediately he stopped everything. "Arey Baba, I want Sita then." And then he listened to her. So these are the qualities that Surpnakha had. And you know why we're telling or why we're discussing these? Because unfortunately, in the yug that we are, which is Kali Yuga, we will meet a lot of people with these qualities of not being loyal, of being diplomatic, being completely self-absorbed, and being so competitive that they're willing to just eliminate you. We have to safeguard ourselves from such people. And we can only do that if we recognize such people. All right. That's the reason that I'm sharing these qualities of Surpnakha. And this is the lesson that we learned from this episode of Ramayana. All right. Now, kids, we will again have, we're actually just about time. but we will stretch a little beyond. And I would want to hear from you all whether the lessons that you learn from these two simple episodes, one is of the environment and one is of the kind of people we need to safeguard ourselves from, were of use to you, or anything else you would want to share from the last 2 days of the wonderful, wonderful sessions that you all have had for this Ramnavami session. We will again raise your hands and we will have Daksha Mataji give each one of you all a chance. Okay. So Rakshita, did you get a chance earlier? If not, we will have Rakshita and then Maitreyi. I'm going to ask Daksha Mataji to please unmute you all so you all can speak and we can hear from you. Yes, Rakshita, what would you want to say?
Teacher, Prabhuji, I want to say that I wonder that there's a same coincidence, or we can say learning in the Ramayana and Mahabharata.
So Ramayana and Mahabharata, Rakshita, are great epics. You know, they have thousands of learnings for us. Every part of the Ramayana and Mahabharata, if you decode it, you will get so much juice out of it and so much of learning out of it. All right. We've only touched like it's tip of the iceberg. There is so much to learn. So, you know what I suggest to you all kids? I suggest to you all that you all read this wonderful book, which has just been published by Shubh Vilas Prabhuji. It's a wonderful graphical representation and the entire Ramayana beautifully told. If you all haven't read the Ramayana, if you all don't know all the details of the Ramayana, please, 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 it's available on Amazon. Buy it. Okay. And once you all are done with this, but you want to hear more stories from the Ramayana, what will you do? You should go tell your parents to buy this. This is for adults. This is one of the volumes. There are many such volumes of the Ramayana, Game of Life, again by Shubh Vilas Prabhuji, where for adults, if your parents read these, they will be able to tell you all so many more stories from the Ramayana, so many more lessons from the Ramayana, which are there in these books. All right. Now I have bought these and my daughter is 10 years old and I tell her a lot of such stories which she relishes. Okay. So if you all want to hear more such stories, tell your parents Ramayana, the Game of Life by Shubh Vilas Prabhuji. Just go on Amazon. You will have it delivered right away. Okay. It's amazing. Okay. Yes. Now Maitreyi, what do you have to say?
Prabhuji,
Be a little loud, please. Yeah.
I have a doubt in your story.
Yes, Maitreyi, I can't hear you, dear. What are you saying?
I have a doubt in the story.
You have a doubt. Please go ahead. Tell me.
That Lakshmana.
Be loud. I can't hear you, dear.
Lakshmana already knows that Rama is married. Then why does he say, "I am the servant, he is the master"?
Sorry, I can't hear you clearly. Lakshman, what?
Why does Lakshman say that I am already married and you marry my master and I don't want to marry you?
Okay.
But he already knows that Rama is married. Then why is he saying?
So as I was telling you, this is the only time in the Ramayana when Lord Ram was in a jovial or a humorous mood. So when Lakshman saw that Lord Ram is doing mazak and masti, he also said, okay, let's do a little more masti. So, you know, they were in the forest. So basically this was masti between two brothers. But unfortunately, they were doing masti with the wrong person. And that's when they got such a reaction from Surpanakha where they had to take things in their hand and they had to, you know, actually chop off because otherwise she would have harmed Sita. So it was basically, they were two brothers doing masti, how you do with your siblings, I'm sure, you know. So because Lord Ram is normally, you know, more serious, he doesn't do so much of masti. But when Lakshman saw that my brother is in a jovial, in a masti mood, he also said, chalo thoda aaj masti mazak ho jaye. Okay? Okay. Next. Mataji, who's going next?
Anish.
Harish. Anish. Okay, Anish,
Yeah.
I don't see you. I want to see you also. Put on
Hare
your
Krishna,
camera for this
Prabhuji.
question. Yes, Anish, go ahead.
Actually, I'm Naman. The Anish is my father's name.
Okay,
So,
what's your name?
my name is Naman.
Naman, go ahead. What's your question? What's your comment?
So I wanted to tell that the machine that you were talking about, that it is very, I also had that machine, but it just broke, and that's why that it just broke because of some issues.
But you
But
enjoyed it now when it was there.
yes, it used to be in the it used to be there in the kitchen, but its noise could be heard up to the door.
Yes, so basically the melodious sound from the machine is heard throughout the house. So here, one more, Naman is also vouching for the machine. So kids who don't have it, please buy it. Okay. Thank
And
you so
also-
much, Naman. And next
and
time,
also-
please log in with your name, so we have better interaction. Okay. Now
And
next,
also, and also,
Man, let's give
you
Man a
were-
chance. Naman, let's give others a chance. Man Bhatia, go ahead.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Yes, Hari bol. Tell me.
सर, ये जो दो कहानियां थी, कैकई और शूर्पणखा।
Be a little loud.
कैकई और शूर्पणखा।
कैकई और शूर्पणखा. Yeah, what about them?
तो पहले वाले से हम ये सीखते हैं कि हमें किसी से कभी भी वो नहीं कहना चाहिए या करना चाहिए जिससे कोई दूसरा वाला आहत हो सके।
हाँ, तो कैकई से हमने, आपके हिसाब से कैकई से हमने क्या सीखा और शूर्पणखा से क्या सीखा, आप बताइए हमें।
और शूर्पणखा से हमने ये सीखा कि अगर जो कुछ भी करना है तो हमें वो उस हिसाब से नहीं करना चाहिए जिससे अगला कोई हमको गलत समझ सके। जैसे
शूर्पणखा स्वार्थी थी, वो अपने बारे में ही सोचती थी, तो बिल्कुल सही है, हमें स्वार्थी नहीं होना चाहिए। और हम शूर्पणखा के बारे में इसीलिए भी समझ रहे हैं मन, कि अगर हमें ऐसे लोग मिले तो हमें उनसे सावधान रहना है।
और सर,
हम उनके बारे में समझ रहे हैं, उसके चरित्र के बारे में समझ रहे हैं।
और सर, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जो है सर, वैसे तो वो मशीन जो है वो तो मेरे घर में नहीं है, पर जो जाप करने वाला जो है उससे मुझे और भी अच्छा लगता है, शांति मिलती है।
बढ़िया है। तो अगर आप मशीन ले आएंगे मन, आपको और भी अच्छा लगेगा, ये मेरा आपसे दावा है। ठीक है।
कभी कभार फोन में भी सुनते हैं, और कलयुग में यही समाधान है सबका, सभी कष्टों का कलयुग में।
ओके जी, थैंक यू सो मच। एक या दो बच्चों से और हम बात कर सकते हैं, 1 or 2
हरे कृष्णा
टुडे। हरे कृष्णा। माता जी, प्लीज टेक अ कॉल।
Okay. So we have Priya.
Yeah. So any 2 more kids, we can go ahead. We're working on time. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, sir.
Priya, you're unmuted. Go ahead. What do you have to say, dear?
Okay, I'll unmute Aniruddha.
Yeah, Aniruddha. Yeah, the next child then. Yeah, please. Aniruddha, you're coming on. Put on your camera so we can also see you.
Yes, Prabhuji, 1 minute.
Yes. And what do you have to say?
Can you see me?
Absolutely. Go ahead. We can hear you also.
Prabhuji, I want to say that while studying with good environment, focusing on studies is also important.
Yes. Absolutely.
Focus and listening to Mahamantras and do chanting.
Focus is the most important thing in life, but if your environment is good, you're able to focus better. That is why we said, if the ventilation is good, if there is no clutter, if there are no phones and TVs disturbing you, your focus is so much better. All right, kids. So make sure that the environment that we have discussed, you all create that environment. Clean your rooms, keep it well ventilated, avoid distractions. Okay, so that you focus better. And when you focus better, remember you're focusing better because of the lesson you have learned from the Ramayana, and that will inspire you to read the Ramayana, understand the Ramayana even more. Okay, one last child, and then we wrap up this session. We've gone overboard on time. Okay.
Mridul, I'll unmute Mridul.
Who's going on, Mataji?
Mridul.
Okay, Mridul. Please unmute yourself. I see some beautiful flowers, but I would want to see a beautiful face. Mridula.
Okay, Mridula, sorry. Yeah.
I can't see you.
Sir, now can you see me?
Yes, see, your face is much better than the flowers you were displaying. Yeah, okay, go ahead. What's your comment? What's your question? What do you want to say?
Sir,
The book you showed.
Yes.
You showed a book, right? Yes, sir. That book in Amazon, it is available.
Sorry, it's available on Amazon.
Yes, sir.
Just been launched. It has been launched a few days ago. It's the entire Ramayana, and you know what? It's got beautiful illustrations. If you see the illustrations, just look at this. I've just opened one page. Of course, the story is good, but the illustrations are amazing. You're not going to love it. Okay, you're not going to just love this. So please make sure that you read the Ramayana. This is a book anyway to keep for life. And as I was telling you, if you all want more stories and more learning, then you'll have to tell your parents to buy Ramayana, the Game of Life.
They know Ramayana and they'll tell stories.
So if you inspire your parents that you like stories, I'm sure they will read it and they will tell you more stories. Okay, anything else you want to say, Mridula?
No.
Okay, thank you so much for joining in, kids. I hope you all have enjoyed this lovely Ramnavami weekend and learned so much about the Ramayana, but it's never enough. Okay, keep learning, keep hearing, keep reading. Okay, and on Tuesday, as I mentioned, we're starting the Bhagavad Gita for kids. Chowpatty starting that. So if you all have not registered, please register. And any other comments, you all are more than happy. I'll be more than happy to have it on the chat. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. Have a wonderful weekend. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, kids.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vishal Prabhu. It was an amazing session.
Remember the two lovely books? Don't forget.
Yes.
You all will love it.
Thank you. So children, that was really nice. I'm sure you learned some beautiful values from the Ramayana and something very different. Nobody could think of such values that you could learn from the Ramayana, yes? So that's nice. So we look forward to seeing you to celebrate Ramnavami, which is on 21st. So we'll do a lovely Ramnavami festival with you all in the morning. So keep yourselves free at 11:30 on 21st, and on 20th we start with the Bhagavad Gita, and Vishal Prabhu is only going to take it up. So if I've all enjoyed the session, I'm going to hear a loud Hari Bol from all of you. So I'm going to unmute you all and let me see how many of you all are yet around. Okay, very few of you all, about 95. Okay, no worries. So let's have a loud Hari Bol and a Jai Shri Ram also. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3. All right. Okay, that was beautiful. Thank you, Vishal Prabhu. Thank you, Daksha Mataji. It was a lovely session. Hare Krishna.